So in the last video, I talked about the blocks and picking blocks and being thoughtful about styling and everything else. After you get your blocks in, you're going to move on to hatch, and you're going to start thinking about textures and excuse me, exterior materials and things like that. And I've noticed since I was building houses, and it seems like it's returning. When I started building houses, finishes were pretty straightforward on the outside, a lot of siding, a lot of brick, and then we went through this phase of literally everything other than, plus the kitchen sink on outsides of homes, stone, brick, siding, and then all these ornaments, decorations, and things along the way, shakes like you see on this gable. So be thoughtful when you're picking your blocks about the types of materials you plan on using on the exterior. Okay. So here's a file or at least an elevation where I've started and I've placed some things. And again, I said, I'm unsure about if I do like or don't like, this divided type window where you have a clear sash on the bottom and the muttons on top. So I'll, possibly come back to that. And again, that's the importance of making copies. You got a couple of approaches that I see. I'm in a 3D modeling tab here, so I'll switch back to drafting. You got a couple of different approaches in the way that you can bring blocks over. Well, at least there's one way to bring blocks over, but as far as how to place them, okay? So I went back here and I found out that I needed a 2 foot 6 inch by 5 foot window. I need two of those, in fact. And so I'm going to go to my 2.6 by 5.0s and find one that I think is suitable. Do I like the arch tops, or what? What do I like? In this case, I'm going to pick an arch top. Okay, so I'm going to grab one of those, and I'm going to go ahead and instead of trying to net, sometimes when you try to clipboard copy, if the second object is real far away, it won't grab it. So what I do is I click it, I right click, I go to clipboard, I select copy with base point, and I just grab it anywhere near the window. And I'm going to come back over here and I right click, do the same thing, clipboard, paste. All right, so I'll drop one of those, and I know I need two. So I'll go ahead and copy this and place it right there. And then I think, if I recall, this was a 2 foot by 3 foot window right here. Yes, it was 2 foot by 3 foot. So I'm going to go see if I have an arch top in one of those to keep it consistent. So now I got to go find my 2 by 3s. And there's a 3, and that one did have muttons. And I think it was, I can't remember if it was double hung like this or if it was casement. I think it was casement. Let's see. Nope, it was double hung. Okay, so I want to grab this version. Okay. Regular copy won't work here. You have to go ahead and right click, clipboard, copy with base point, click, and then you can come back over here and right click, clipboard, paste. So in the last video I noted and I said, remember that this, the inside of the frame, is the true dimension of the window, okay? And I'm gonna go ahead and do this very quickly. This is my method. I always draw a stick with the end point, and I usually choose the bottom left corner for whatever reason. So if you like this method, you would go along and you would do it to every door and every window all the way. So I'll do it with the door as well. But I'm going to show two different methods. The dog is going to comment on this, I think, here in a second. Okay, so I'm going to go back to blocks, and I need a door, and I remembered I did have to look at my floor plan to remind myself, was it a sliding door or was it a French door? Molly, you're good. Don't worry about it. So I have a French door. I'm going to right click, clipboard, paste, and there's my door. Okay, so the reason I've always used the stick method is that, remember, I'm keeping one skeleton elevation untouched, okay? And then these are the ones I'm modifying. So the reason I've always liked this is now I can just delete that door opening that was there, okay? And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go ahead and grab it. I'm going to go copy selection. I'm going to remember not the outside of the frame, it's the inside of the frame. And I'm going to bring it up and place it right on that endpoint. And I copy them instead of moving them because I might need it again later down the road. Okay. Now I'll try this one, but I'm going to do a different method here. So I'm going to go same exact thing. I'm going to go copy. Remember, it's not the outside of the trim. It's always the inside. The next series of lines or intersections inside. So it's not this one, it's not this one, it's not the outside one. It's one in from the outside. And I'm going to select it and I'm going to drop it right there. And if I did it right, you should notice that it's covering a blue line. Okay, and that's going to be an issue unless I just go and I turn my blocks layer off. And now I would go ahead and delete where that was. I can turn my blocks back on, and that puts the window back in place. So again, method one is go ahead and take this, go ahead and move it. I guess you can move it or copy it inside of the trim and position it right there. And now I don't need that stick anymore. If I wanted to go back and make changes, I could just put the sticks back in place. Okay. Method two is move this one. And again, I'm going to go to the inside corner of the trim and I come up and drop it. And now I can see these. This is handy. So I can just click that and that. Or like I said before, you just turn your block layer off, select what you want to delete, then turn your block layer back on. Okay. And as a reminder, this is a good time. Remember, we want our doors and windows always to line up, definitely on the tops. The bottoms may not line up, like this is over a sink or something, but the tops should line up, and you might want to just go ahead and do that. Doors are usually a little bit shorter because they have a different trim, but you can see it's all nicely aligned, and this is something you want to go back and then take a pause before you keep moving and say, do I like it?